The story begins with a girl named Kirie Goshima, who serves as our narrator. She introduces herself, explaining, "I go to Kuruzucho High School, which sits partway up the mountain overlooking our town." She also shares a little about her family. Her father is a potter, and she lives with him, her mother, and her younger brother in the heart of Kuruzucho. While checking the time, Kirie suddenly gasps in alarm. "Oh no, I'm late. I might miss Shuichi at the station." Without wasting another second, she takes off running. But after only a short distance, she spots something odd, a whirlwind swirling right in front of her. It seems strange, but she brushes it off and keeps moving. As she hurries ahead, she notices a man standing motionless in a narrow alley. His gaze is locked onto something with an eerie intensity. Kirie slows down, narrowing her eyes. Wait, isn't that Shuichi's father? What's he doing here all alone? Her curiosity gets the better of her, so she approaches him and greets him politely, "Hello, sir." But he doesn't react. He stays completely still, his attention fixed on a snail shell stuck to the wall. He doesn't blink. He doesn't move. The shell's spiral pattern seems to have him completely entranced. Keep this detail in mind. The spiral will play a crucial role later. Kirie was stunned by what she had just seen. The man's behavior unsettled her, and after muttering that he was acting strangely, she decided to walk away. Yet he remained completely unresponsive, his eyes still locked onto the spiral-shaped snail shell as if nothing else in the world existed. The scene then shifts to Kuruzucho Station, where Kirie sits on a bench, waiting. Moments later, a train pulls into the platform with a screech, and as the doors slide open, a boy named Shuichi Saito steps out. Kirie begins narrating, explaining that Shuichi has been her friend since childhood. They once attended the same school and were in the same class, but now he goes to a different high school. As they exit the station, Kirie and Shuichi walk side by side. After a brief silence, Kirie turns to him and says, "Hey Shuichi, I think I saw your dad earlier. He was acting kind of strange, almost like he was obsessed with something. He was standing alone, staring at his snail shell, completely fixated on it." She pauses for a moment before adding, "But I'm not totally sure it was him. It was pretty dark in that alley, so I couldn't see his face clearly." Shuichi listens quietly before nodding. "Yeah, that was probably my dad. He's been acting weird lately." Kirie frowns. "Weird? How so?" Shuichi hesitates, then simply says, "Like he's obsessed." The scene then shifts to a park, where the two sit together on a bench. Kirie studies Shuichi's face and notices something is off. Concerned, she asks, "Shuichi, you seem really down today. Did something happen? Are you worried about something?" What he says next takes her completely by surprise. With a serious expression, he looks her in the eye and says, "Kirie, let's leave this town together." Kirie stares at Shuichi, completely taken aback. "Leave? Are you saying you want us to run away from this town?" she asks in disbelief. With a serious look, Shuichi responds, "I'm not kidding, Kirie. I mean it. I can't stay here any longer. If we stay in this town much longer, we'll lose our minds too." He exhales sharply before continuing, "I'm certain of it now. I spend my whole day outside this town, but the second I step off the train, I start feeling lightheaded, like this town itself is warping my mind." Still confused, Kirie furrows her brow. "What are you talking about, Shuichi? I don't get it." He looks straight at her and asks, "You really haven't felt it too?" Kirie shakes her head without hesitation. "No," she insists. Before she can say anything else, a loud siren suddenly blares through the air. Kirie glances around before turning to Shuichi. "Hey, it's already 5 o'clock. We should head home now," she tells him. But Shuichi doesn't acknowledge her. Instead, he begins whispering to himself, his voice strained. "I hate this sound. I hate it. It feels like it's stabbing into my ears, drilling into my skull." At that moment, Kirie's patience finally snaps. Raising her voice, she yells, "Shuichi, it's 5 o'clock. We need to go home now." As the scene shifts, Kirie and Shuichi walk side by side. After a moment, Shuichi speaks, his voice tense. "I can't stand that lifeless ocean. From Midoriyama-shi, where my school is, the ocean looks nothing like this, and that black lighthouse, it gives off such an ominous feeling. These dark mountains behind us, these winding roads, it's like they're creeping into my very being. Spirals. This town is trapped by them." Kirie glances at him. "Did you say something?" Shuichi quickly shakes his head. "No, nothing," he mutters. The next day, Shuichi's father visits Kirie's father at his pottery workshop. Stepping inside, he greets him warmly. "Ah, Mr. Goshima, You're always hard at work. Goshima smiles. Well, you know, working as an artist may seem slow, but it's just as demanding as physical labor. Shuichi's father nods. No, I truly admire your craft. Creating traditional clay pots, it's a true art of the spiral. Ah, forgive me. Kirie's father pauses for a moment, then chuckles. The art of the spiral? Oh, I see. The pottery wheel spins round and round, just like a spiral. Hearing this, Shuichi's father suddenly lights up with excitement and eagerly turns to Kirie's dad. Mr. Goshima, please, I beg you, can you make one for me too? I want a design so mesmerizing it makes me dizzy just by looking at it. It has to be a spiral pattern. Yes, a deep, swirling black spiral would be perfect. His voice grows more intense as he continues. Lately, I've become obsessed with that shape. I've started collecting anything with a spiral, old and new kimonos with swirling designs, coins, snail shells, amulets, fossils, springs, tires, that mosquito-repelling tortoise coil, anything that forms a spiral. So I thought, why not ask the best potter in town, you, Mr. Goshima, to craft me a beautiful spiral-shaped bowl. His eyes gleam with excitement as he adds, money isn't a problem, just tell me the price. His enthusiasm seems almost unnatural as he leans in, voice filled with fascination. The spiral is unlike anything else in nature. When I look at it, it feels as if no other shape truly exists. At this moment, Shuichi's father appears both deeply serious and strangely elated, his obsession clearly visible. He presses on, I know you understand, Mr. Goshima. You must. No one else can truly grasp the beauty of spirals like you. Spirals are perfection. Spirals are everything. They are the highest form of art, and no one is more suited to craft them than you. Kirie and her younger brother watch the entire exchange in complete silence, unable to say a word. The next day, Shuichi and Kirie sit together in the park. After a moment of silence, Shuichi turns to her and asks, Kirie, did my dad come to your house yesterday? Kirie thinks for a second before nodding. Yeah, he did. To be honest, he made me a little uneasy. Shuichi sighs, looking troubled. I'm really sorry, Kirie. You're getting dragged into this because of me. He's been acting so strange lately. Trying to lighten the mood, Kirie says, well, he called my dad an artist, and that actually motivated him. And honestly, I don't think being obsessed with spirals is that weird. I mean, some people collect bizarre things like cigarette butts or bottle caps. The moment she says this, Shuichi's expression changes. His face tightens with frustration, and he snaps, do you even realize how extreme his obsession is? He's stopped going to work. All he does now is sit around reading books all day. Frustrated, Shuichi clenches his fists and says, you just don't get it, Kirie. You don't know what it's like. Once my dad fixates on something, nothing can change his mind. He just stares at spirals like he's possessed. And the weirdest part, his eyes actually start spinning, round and round. Kirie's eyes widen in disbelief. Wait, your dad's eyes spin? Shuichi nods. Yeah, they do. Kirie lets out a small chuckle. Come on, maybe he's just messing with you. But Shuichi's expression remains serious. No, it's not a joke. It's terrifying. His eyes don't just move. They spin independently, each one rotating in a different direction. He pauses before continuing, his voice lower now. Once it even happened during dinner. My mom had made miso soup, but there weren't any spiral-shaped fish cakes in it. She told him the store was out of stock, but he completely lost it. He started yelling at her, saying, I won't drink this soup without spirals. Shuichi sighs deeply before adding, then, out of nowhere, he grabbed his chopsticks and started stirring the soup like a madman. He kept going until a whirlpool formed in the bowl, and only then did he finally calm down and drink it. Shuichi continues, his voice heavy with frustration. His obsession has gotten so extreme that before taking a bath, he has to create a vortex in the tub with his hands. He won't step in until the water forms a perfect spiral. He turns to Kirie and asks, do you think that's funny? Kirie, now serious, shakes her head. No, there's nothing funny about this. Shuichi studies her expression. You don't believe me, do you? Kirie hesitates before answering. I'm sorry, it's just. Before she can finish, Shuichi cuts her off. It's fine. I didn't believe it at first either. He exhales sharply, then looks at her with determination. Come see for yourself, then you'll understand how bad this really is, and maybe you'll start hating this town as much as I do. Kirie frowns. Why would I hate the town? Shuichi's expression darkens. Because I feel like this town is the reason my father has lost his mind. Still confused, Kirie presses, "But why?" Shuichi doesn't answer right away. Instead, he simply says, "Let's see." As they continue walking, they arrive at a small stream. Shuichi stops and points at the water. "Don't you think there's something strange about this stream? Look carefully. There are spiral-shaped vortexes everywhere." Kirie observes the water for a moment before replying, "Oh, those? They're probably caused by the strong current." Shuichi doesn't seem convinced. He watches the swirling water and mutters, "Yeah, maybe that's it." Shuichi shakes his head. "I've never seen water vortexes like these back in Midoriyamashi." Kirie, still unconvinced, folds her arms. "But what does any of this have to do with your dad's obsession with spirals?" Shuichi hesitates before responding, "I don't know, but—" Before he can finish, they arrive at Shuichi's house. Suddenly, loud screams echo from inside. Shuichi's expression shifts instantly, and without a second thought, he sprints toward the entrance. The moment he steps inside, a horrifying sight greets him. His father is attacking his mother. Panicked, Shuichi rushes between them, pushing them apart. "What's wrong with you two?" he shouts. His father, gasping for breath, glares furiously at his wife. She threw away my spiral collection while I was gone." Struggling to stay composed, Shuichi's mother snaps back, "You need to wake up. You have a job, a life outside of this. How much longer are you going to drown in this spiral madness?" For a moment, silence fills the room. Shuichi's father stops moving entirely, his expression unreadable. Shuichi's mother, still shaken, glances at her son. Is he calming down?" she asks. But then, in a slow, eerie voice, Shuichi's father speaks. "No, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't need to collect spirals anymore." A twisted smile creeps onto his face as he continues. "I finally realized I can become a spiral myself." With that, he removes his glasses, and to everyone's horror, his eyes begin to spin. Each one moves independently, rotating in an unnatural counterclockwise spiral motion. Kirie watches in stunned silence, a cold sweat forming on her skin. Her entire body feels paralyzed with fear. As she stares, unable to look away, she whispers, I finally saw it with my own eyes." Several days pass, and during this time, Shuichi doesn't mention his father even once. He avoids the topic entirely, leaving an eerie silence hanging between him and Kirie. Then the scene shifts to Kirie's house. Her father calls out to her, "Kirie, Shuichi's father's order is finally finished. Could you take it over to their house for me?" Kirie freezes for a moment. The memory of what she witnessed at their home still lingers in her mind, sending a shiver down her spine. She doesn't want to go back there, but after a brief hesitation, she takes a deep breath, pushes her fear aside, and heads toward Shuichi's house. When she arrives, she presses the doorbell and calls out cautiously, "Excuse me, it's Kirie." A familiar voice answers from inside. "Ah, Kirie, Shuichi isn't home right now." Kirie steadies herself. "I actually came to deliver your order piece," she explains. There's a brief pause before Shuichi's father finally responds. His voice sounds oddly detached. "Oh, the piece I ordered? Right, that? But I'm sorry. I don't need it anymore." Kirie hesitates for a moment before saying, "But this was specially made for you." Before she can finish, Shuichi's father cuts her off. His voice is eerily calm as he says, "Kirie, like I told you before, I don't need objects like this anymore. A true spiral doesn't have to be collected. You can create one from within yourself. Here, let me show you." Then, without warning, he sticks out his tongue. Into Kirie's absolute horror, it twists and coils into a perfect spiral. A chill shoots down her spine as she watches, frozen in place. Her breath catches in her throat. Then panic takes over. With a terrified scream, she turns and bolts, running all the way home without daring to look back. Meanwhile, at Shuichi's house, a delivery boy arrives, holding a package. He presses the doorbell and calls out, "Hello, I'm from Tanaka Copper. I'm here to deliver the item you ordered." Moments later, Shuichi's father appears at the door. His face lights up with unsettling excitement. "Ah, I've been waiting for this," he says, his voice filled with anticipation. Scene shift. A few days later, a solemn air hangs over the town as a funeral takes place, the funeral of Shuichi's father. Kirie approaches Shuichi, and he looks at her with a serious expression. "Do you know the truth about how my dad died?" he asks. Kirie hesitates before answering, "Yes, he fell down the stairs." Shuichi lets out a small sigh and shakes his head. "That's just what we told people," he says. "But it's not the truth. That was a lie." His voice lowers as he continues, "For a long time, my dad had been acting strange. My mom and I secretly went to a doctor to discuss his condition, but we never told him. In the end, we decided he needed to be admitted to a hospital. That's why we got home late that night. But when we returned, he was gone. Kirie listens, tense and uneasy. We searched everywhere, Shuichi says. Every single room in the house, but then we found something. His voice shakes slightly. It was a large tub, one I had never seen before. My mom and I had no idea where it came from, and when I lifted the lid, we were horrified. Kirie watches him, frozen in fear, as he finally reveals the truth. Inside that tub was my dad, but his body, it had twisted itself into a spiral. His limbs, his torso, his head, everything coiled unnaturally. It was horrifying, unbelievable. He lowers his gaze. I don't understand how it happened. All I know is he climbed into that tub on his own. He forced his body into that shape, and in doing so, he crushed himself to death. Kirie stands in stunned silence, unable to process what she just heard. Before she can respond, a sudden voice shouts from behind them, "Look over there, up in the sky." What is that? Everyone instinctively turns their heads upward.